Hello everybody out there in the bookverse, it's Stephanie, and today I'm back with my January wrap-up. I'm going to talk about all the books that I read in January and what I thought about them. So I am filming this a little bit earlier in the month. I do still have several days left in order to read and finish books, and I do have 2 books that I'm currently reading that I am planning on finishing this month, and I think it's actually going to happen, but I won't be able to do reviews for them in this video because with everything I have going on in my life, I'm super busy, and with grad school and everything, I find it very difficult to film 2 weeks in a row, and I want to be able to get my wrap-ups up like the weekend after my TBRs go up. And so I have decided the way I'm going to do these wrap-ups is I'm going to talk about all the books that I have finished, and then any books that I finish within that month after I film my wrap-up, I'll include in the next one. So it'll just kind of keep going that way, and it won't really be like you get 2 extra books in February because you'll get the rollover from February as well, if that makes sense. So the 2 books that I am currently still reading are The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu and Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. I am enjoying them both. The Grace of Kings is my channel read-along that I am doing, and if you want to join that, it's down, the Discord's down in the description, and this was the January read, 2nd books in February, and so forth. Look at these covers. I mean, I would read these books for these covers alone. They're stunning. And then Warbreaker is our Cosmere Unbounded read-along read for January, and it's another book in the Cosmere. I am loving this, but did I expect anything else? It is Brandon Sanderson, and I know I like his writing style and his worlds, so yeah. Both of them, so far so good, but I'll let you know my final thoughts in my February wrap-up. Let's start by talking about the books that I don't actually physically own. The first one is When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain by Nhi Vo. This is her 2nd book in her Singing Hills companion novella series, and I liked it quite a bit. I liked the first book in this series better, The Empress of Salt and Fortune. I really enjoyed that one a lot. This second one, I just didn't really feel that invested into the story, and I didn't really like any of the characters all that much. I didn't feel like I really connected or had any kind of investment with them. I know it's really hard in novellas to get investment in these characters, at least for me personally. I tend to need a little more time with characters. But this one was still pretty good. I liked the writing style. It definitely had that told story feel to it, because that is what's happening in both of these so far, is they are tales being told. I just didn't really feel that invested or care that much in the actual story that was being told. It had a nice folk tale feel to it. It's definitely Asian inspired, and I really did like the feel and vibe to it. I just didn't really care as much as I did to the first one. So it's like a solid 3 stars, but I didn't absolutely love it. The next book that I don't own, and both of these were books that I read for my race that I did with my niece for TBR Mini Star Hop, which was absolutely fun. You should definitely check out that video. I'll link it above and below, and so you can see I had so much fun. But this next book that I read for that was Guild by Raven Kennedy. This is the first book in her Plated Prisoners series, and I feel like it's been marketed as a dark adult fantasy romance series, and I'm gonna be honest, at least in this first book, I did not feel the romance vibe from it. It definitely has some spice in it, but it wasn't romantic to me. I didn't get that this was a romance, so maybe farther on in the series it becomes that, but this is a King Midas retelling, and we're following this girl who is gold touched, meaning that she is completely gold. She's been touched by King Midas and turned to gold, but like she's still human. It's just her skin is golden, her hair is golden, but like she's still soft and has blood and stuff and is alive, right? Like she didn't turn solid gold like most of the things that he touches, and she's like his prisoner. She's literally kept in a cage in his castle, but she kind of wants to be there for like safety reasons. It's a very odd dynamic, I feel, between her and Midas, and the fact that she's in a cage. I didn't really think the world building was done all that well, to be honest. I thought it was very simplistic, and then when we did broaden out and get some more interesting world building, it was very info dumpy, and I didn't think it was done very seamlessly into the story. We kind of just got the information dumped on us at the beginning of this chapter and then moved on. It's like the author didn't really try to make it a part of the story. She's just like, hey, this is some important information you're gonna need later, but I'm not gonna like give it to you in any natural way. So I didn't really love that aspect of it, or that writing choice. I didn't like the main character. I thought she was quite pathetic and whiny and quite annoying. And while in all reality it's very realistic, I just don't enjoy reading about that type of thing. I really liked one of our side characters. I thought she was very tough, very interesting, and I'd like to know more about her. Overall, I was not that into this book, except for the ending. I feel like the ending opened up the possibility for this world and this story to really turn into something awesome. So I have my fingers crossed that that's where we're going with this, that this is what she's going to do with this story and this series. So I'm definitely going to be continuing on with it. Yeah, I'm really interested to see where we go with it, and I have some thoughts, I have some theories, but this first book wasn't my favorite, but I definitely have high hopes for the rest of the series. The final book that I read for that race of TBR Starhop was If We Were Villains by ML Rio. This is a dark academia book that is set at this very artsy university somewhere in the United States, and it follows these 6, I believe, characters who are in this Shakespeare program. And that's essentially all they do, is they are Shakespearean actors, and they're studying Shakespeare, and that is their entire university experience. And one of them, we know this in the very beginning, the first chapter, we know that one of them is in jail and one of the other ones died, and so he is in jail because of that death. We don't know if he killed him. We don't know if it was somehow involved in it. We really don't know exactly what's going on, except that now this person is telling that story and giving the full account of what happened to this police officer that is now retired, and it's not going to affect his parole and all these things. I enjoyed it quite a bit, honestly. I feel like I had just read The Secret History, and this has extreme Secret History vibes. I mean, definitely a lot of the plot points that were used in The Secret History are used in this one, and I don't think it's a knockoff of The Secret History or anything. I just feel like they do feel very, very similar. So having just read The Secret History, it was impossible to not make comparisons as I was reading this one, and I think I would have liked it better if I would have either read it before The Secret History or way after, so I didn't remember The Secret History quite as well. But it was very interesting. I think in this book we get a lot of character development. You really get to know these characters in depth and really get into their psyche, what they're thinking, what their fears are, their insecurities, what their dreams are, what they're aspiring towards. And I thought that the Shakespeare part of it, when they were actually doing the plays, was extremely well done and very atmospheric. I didn't like the fact that they spoke in Shakespeare all the time. I found that very annoying and pretentious. I didn't really like our main character all that much. He was fine, but I thought he was pretty dumb, and he kind of annoyed me a little bit. And overall, Philippa was my favorite. Absolutely loved her, and I thought it was a good book. I liked the twist at the end. The very, very, very end. I did not see that coming, but I did see most of the things that happened throughout this book coming. I don't know if that necessarily took away from my enjoyment, but I don't like that anxious feeling of knowing that you got caught, or that you lost, or that you something bad happened at the beginning and then just waiting for it to happen. That's not something I enjoy in books. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Some people I'm sure really love that, but that's just not for me. Overall, I still really like this book. I think about it a lot, and I think it deserves a decent rating, but I don't know. My feelings are very, very mixed. The next 2 books that I read were the first and second books in the Rainwild Chronicles. We have Dragon Keeper and Dragon Haven. These books were a huge disappointment to me. I have absolutely loved all the books in Robin Hobb's Realm of the Elderlings so far. I love her character work. I love her writing style. I just have adored my time there. But these 2, I just did not like them. I didn't enjoy the characters. I didn't like the setting really, and the plot, and just kind of what was going on. It was fairly boring to me. I felt like most people were super whiny and annoying, and I just really could not get invested in any of these characters, unfortunately. The first book, Dragon Keeper, was a 3-star for me, pretty low 3 stars probably. It was decent. I still liked her writing style. I just didn't really love what she was writing about, and I didn't feel like her character work was done as well as it was in previous books, unfortunately, and I felt pretty bored and I didn't really care about what was happening. Plus, I don't like the dragons in these books. They're annoying and obnoxious and so just unpleasant to follow. I just didn't enjoy them at all. And then Dragon Haven was all about mating. And I use that word literally because that is the word that is used a million times in this book. That is pretty much the entirety of the book, is everyone trying to get with someone else. And it's everywhere. It's in like the dragons, it's in the humans, it's like in everything. And I'm like, can we not focus an entire like 500-page book on this? It felt like everything went very primitive in this book. You almost had this like clan feel to it where they were trying to band together and take over in like Lord of the Flies-esque style, and the males were trying to stake their claims on the females as the human beings in this story, and it was just not something I enjoyed reading. That one was a 2 stars. So I have a 3-star and a 2-star Robin Hobb book here, and I am so disappointed. I've heard that the series gets better. I'm going to continue because I do want to continue on with all of the Realm of the Elderlings, and I think we're getting some interesting information into Elderlings and the magic, and some hints that were also dropped about other things that were in the other series. So I'm really hoping that's where we're going to focus on these next few books, not on this type of stuff. This isn't what I want to read about. Didn't really enjoy it. I was definitely disappointed. I will be continuing, but I'm just really hoping that the series gets better because these two were not for me. Next book I want to talk about is Spinning Silver. This was our Top Shelf Society book club pick for the month of January. It just felt so fitting. It has this kind of winter feel to it. It's very cold, and we have this king of the cold kingdom, and I felt like it was just such a January read, and I really do enjoy Naomi Novik's writing style, at least in Uprooted, and so coming into this one, I had very high expectations, and I feel like overall it was really fun and a very enjoyable time. I think I enjoyed the first part of the book a little bit more, actually, when we're just sitting in this world with these characters, and there are some things happening and there is some tension and conflict that we're getting through, but we're really just getting to know the characters and getting to know the world and really enjoying living in that. And I felt like that was some of the best part of this book, that atmosphere, that cold, magical feeling, but the magic wasn't like out there. It was just very background, creepy, hidden magic almost. I really enjoyed that aspect of it a lot. For the most part, I really enjoyed our main character. I thought she was really well done. I thought she was so much fun to follow. I really enjoyed her. I think towards the end, she made some decisions that I questioned, and I think there were some plot points in here that didn't make sense. There was some logic issues going on in this book that it took me out of the story when I would notice those, because I'm like, no, that like this doesn't need to happen because you said before in the rules of your magic that this is how it goes. So those things kind of bugged me, and I think that in some stories and some authors' writing styles, that type of stuff isn't as important. Like the firm rules of the magic system isn't really what the magic is about. And like my personality, once you set a rule for the magic, I'm like, no, like this is your rule. You made this. And so that I think is probably me as a reader picking those things out, whereas a lot of people might not find that as a problem. I didn't feel like the ending was something that I would have thought would happen just from our characters and their development necessarily. Overall, though, I really enjoyed my time reading this book. I liked the writing style, I liked the world, and it just felt very magical and fairy tale-esque, and I would definitely recommend it, especially during the winter time. I mean, December and January, even February, perfect for this book, and it was good. It was a great book. I had a lot of fun reading this one, and you guys should check out our Top Shelf Society chat about this. It should already be up by the time this video goes up, so I will link it down below. And the most recent finish for my January reads is Malice by John Gwynne. I have been told for so long that I need to read the Faithful and the Fallen series, that it's so amazing, that John Gwynne is just the greatest author out there, right? He has been hyped up so much by a lot of my friends. And so going into it, I had very, very high expectations for this book. This is an adult high fantasy series. It's Norse inspired. We follow many points of view, like many. And it has a very big the world doesn't look that big, but it's very complicated. The politics involved and the different countries and the different people who are important within those countries are important to this book. You need to keep them straight. So I feel like, understandably so, but the first part of this book was kind of work to get through, and it was a little bit slower to get very interesting and to pull me in and really get me invested in this world. We jumped between characters a lot at the beginning, and it wasn't like we kind of eased into like had a couple POVs and then got more and more. We had like 7 or 8 POVs by the 100-page mark, and so it was a lot to keep track of and a lot to keep straight. The chapters were pretty short, so you didn't spend that much time with each of these characters, which, granted, I like short chapters. I really enjoy them in books, but when you have this many POVs and you're jumping that fast, I feel like I need a little bit more time with each character to really ingrain, okay, who are they, where are they from, who are they, why are they important to the story, and who around them is also important to this story. So that was not my favorite part of this book. This has a lot of very familiar fantasy tropes to it and fantasy style to it, which I did enjoy. I like that in my books, honestly. I like having books that are different and unique and kind of jump out of those fantasy norms, but I like ones that also are unique while still utilizing a lot of those fantasy tropes and plot devices. But the end, whew, I am a person who loves when their books have just huge, intense climax endings where they are just so gripping, so thrilling, and you cannot put the book down. And this delivered on that 100%. I could not put this down for like the last 150 pages. My husband is like asked me a couple of questions while I was 7 or 8 pages from the end. I'm like, duh. Like, I have to finish this book before you can talk to me. I will not hear anything you say until I'm done. Like, I loved the ending, but I like that type of ending. I really enjoy just the intenseness of those types of endings. I think that's something like Brandon Sanderson does really well in his books as well. And it's just something I always tend to enjoy. It's so much fun for me. I feel like a lot of things I saw coming, while some things I didn't, and I like that as well in books where there is enough information given to us where we can guess some things, but it's not so obvious that everything is just handed to us and we're like, yeah, that was easy to see coming, and so it makes it more boring. I feel like by the end, I really enjoyed the characters. At the beginning, it took me quite a while to get invested in them, but by the end, I really did like a lot of our main characters that we're following, and I'm very interested to see where we go with this. I want to jump into the next book right away, but I am buddy reading the series with my Patreons, and we have decided that we are going to read one book every other month. So the next book in this series, Valor, I'm going to pick up in March with my Patrons. If you want to join us, link down below in the description box. If you want to join my Patreon, we'd love to have you over there. It's a lot of fun. We have all agreed that we have so many books going that we can't add giant fantasy books on once a month. So every other month we're going to be reading it. I'm so excited to continue on with this series. This is great. And so to all of my friends, Abby and Joanna in particular, who have told me that I needed to read this series, I have done it and I have loved it. So thank you so much for your recommendations. Okay, those are the books that I read in January. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these books, what your thoughts are on them, and what your favorite read was for the month of January. And as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, hit the subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you'll be notified when I post new content. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.